Live.
And hello there, everyone. This is Praxis Descends here for the It You Trash crew, representing Star Trek Adventures Iskandar. I have been instructed to keep talking, just indefinitely, while the chat tells us if they can hear us or not, so that Mike will not have a heart attack about whether or not the audio quality has gone squiffy. So if you can hear us, you should tell us now. If you can't hear us, that's going to be a real problem, because maybe you won't know that...
Yay!
They can hear us!
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce everyone here, and therefore we'll know if we can hear them too. So, you have heard from me, Praxis Descends. Now you're going to hear from Kath.
Hi! You should say more words. Those are my words.
Those are good words, Kath. You're now going to hear from Mike.
Hello, it is me, Mike.
And of course, last but definitely not least, although we're about the same height, Emily.
I'm taller than you. Also
About the same height.
And words.
So if there were any concerns with that audio, now would be the time to tell us, because otherwise, that's going to be a real problem down the line. For anyone who is interested, today I'm drinking quite a nice lemon and ginger green tea, and in a mug that my mother got me, because it has my initial on it, but it also has the initial of the ship. Therefore...
Oh, those have got to be icy, like with a cute crest on the other side.
my Iskandar mug,
Good
but
branding.
also
branding.
my name. So yeah, branding. It's quite nice tea. Yes. So, hello everyone. It's so lovely to see so many members of the Trash Fam in the audience at the moment. I'm particularly looking at you, Saki, and of course James. But it's just so nice to have everyone here to see this, the second adventure in our custom Star Trek ship setting. What's it called when it's a ship but it's not like a full setting? Like, we haven't set Star Trek just in some random nonsense place, but we're like, this is our crew.
I mean, Iskandar is pretty much a random nonsense place.
It is a random nonsense place, but it's a very, very small random nonsense place where the rest of the universe is assumed to be as should be. But anyway, if you have never seen an episode of our show before, for starters, all of our back history are on the It You Trash Crew YouTube page, channel. I'm so professional. But we will obviously be introducing our characters, and you shouldn't have to have a solid knowledge of how our crew is put together. You should be able to pick it up and play, but perhaps having a bit of knowledge about Star Trek would be useful. But if you have any questions as the game goes on, I'm sure members of the chat will be happy to answer for you. The most exciting thing about how we run our game is that there are the four of us that you see before you, and you can see underneath our we each have two characters that we play who are various important members of the crew on the ship. But there is no fixed GM story to story. As it happens for this adventure, our game master will be Kath, who plays our captain. But the last adventure was GM'd by Mike, and future adventures may well be GM'd by me and Emily, but there's no promises. That sounds like we do it together, like we'd be a team.
Oh, that'd be really nice.
GMing team.
It's a terrible idea, but it's also... It's an idea.
It should go in the ideas box. Free ideas box. And so with that, any information for the usual Trash crew, because this is an Iskandar game, I believe being in the chat, you will still earn trash bags as usual to spend on helps and hinders for future Trash games, but we don't do helps and hinders in this current Star Trek adventure. I thought I might do it when I GM in future, but it's something I've decided not to drop on my friends who are here as Trash guests, particularly since the Star Trek adventure system is a little bit complicated and makes us cross sometimes. And so adding complex new things to it will not be fun, not for anyone, not in the slightest. But obviously you are encouraged to shout random suggestions in the chat, and maybe Kath will be mean and implement them.
If I see them.
That is true.
I have a lot of data up on my monitors.
Data's going to be in this.
Oh, just huge picture of Brent Spiner. Like, that's all I've got. That's my game planning.
Is that the content we've got to work with?
That's just it. Data shows up.
I'm okay.
I'm not even being Data. I don't think I could do a good Data impression.
So the door's behind you, and in walks Brent Spiner.
He's here. Ignore the muffled screaming.
And so, on that very auspicious note, I am going to now hand over to our GM, Kath.
Hello! I'm Kath, I'm the GM, and welcome to our latest episode, right from the very beginning of Iskandar. This is named The Cutting Edge. I'll let people have a very brief introduction of characters, because we're not meeting everyone for the first time at all. So I will be playing Captain Athan, a joined Trill, diplomat, reluctant leader, sufferer of all of the rest of the crew. I also play Lieutenant Atticus Vance, a good old southern boy security chief who I accidentally statted that he could punch a man in the face as hard as a phaser pistol. So, Izzy, good old XO, if you'd like to introduce your characters.
Hello. My two characters are, my primary character is Lieutenant Commander Tilandra, who is the Vulcan First Officer of the Iskandar. She is a very people-personally focused Vulcan. She is responsible for crew welfare and rota management, and is very protective of the crew as a whole. She's been around in Starfleet for a fair bit, and hopefully she'll be there to show Captain Athan how to be a good Starfleet captain. Starfleet. And of course, my second character is Dr. Arkady, and they are the Chief Medical Officer on board the Iskandar. They are originally from Russia, Earth, and come from a proud tradition of Russians in Starfleet being very chipper and friendly and approachable. They are not so much a military doctor as a civilian doctor who's decided to take part in this quite interesting, fun trip. And of course, I find them incredibly fun to play because they're so perky. Is it a baton thing? Do I hand it down?
Yeah.
All right, Emily, I think you're below me.
No, Mike's below you.
Damn.
But Emily's
Mike.
next.
My primary character is Lieutenant Adam Strange. He is currently the chief engineer aboard the Iskandar. He has not always been the chief engineer aboard the Iskandar. He is originally from Earth. He is a very kind of quiet, shy boy. He is also quite easily upset. Not that he's traumatized by recent events.
Nothing happened.
Or anything to do with his predecessor as chief engineer. Nope. Why would that be the case? And then my secondary character is Adina Kantos. They are the helmsman aboard the Iskandar, and they're more of a kind of roguish flyboy type. Except, flyboy's a two-gendered word because they're non-binary. But, that kind of archetype.
Binary love.
And next to Mike.
My primary character is Ensign Samuel Casey, one of the brightest minds that Starfleet has yielded, unfortunately limited by FizzRep. But I have stats that can back me up and can make doe eyes at the GM. Again, someone who's definitely not been traumatized by recent events. And my secondary, brand new, hot off the presses, is Quaris Zal, who is my brand new Andorian security officer. And I will be learning about him the same as you do, so we'll learn together. I'm pretty sure he likes to punch things, though.
It's pretty good. Punching things is pretty good for security officers. Okay.
And you definitely do with people who like punching things.
Mm-hmm.
So, without further ado, I will start to set the scene. For simplicity's sake, because I would be giving you a star date, we are still about a month after the events of Stasis. So, time to dick around and do your normal Starfleet things on an everyday basis. But I will open up scene as one does. Space, panning camera, the Iskandar, a very pretty, intrepid class, think USS Voyager, if you're not as much of a nerd as me, docked at a slightly run-down, but definitely Federation small outpost. We'll open up with good old-fashioned Captain's Log, stardate 55702.73. The Iskandar has stopped at Starbase 214 in the Castal sector for resupply ahead of a survey mission of the nearby McPherson Nebula. Unfortunately, this is where I will have to part ways with the ship for a time. My presence requested at a Starfleet Command security briefing on the Cardassian post-war borders and the joint operations to secure them. I do, however, have complete faith in my crew to carry on their exemplary conduct without me, and in Commander Talandra to lead them in my absence. So our first scene is going to be opening up on Starbase 214. As I say, it's sort of a small, think the kind of outpost which would have still been around as long ago as the original series. Not the most bustling or bright, shiny or clean of places, but at a docking port, docked there is a hefty professional Federation transport ship, and Athan is there, and Talandra has accompanied her. Because I've decided this, because I'm the GM and I get to order my XO around now, to for the departure. There is crew bustling onto the transport, the airlock presence, and Captain and XO. Well, Commander, you should be on a fairly straightforward milk run, I think, with the McPherson Nebula affair. But I don't imagine I'll be gone more than 2 or 3 weeks. You should be done with the survey mission by then and returning to Starbase 214. I'll be able to meet up with you again there.
If our agendas line up, Captain, then I believe that will be the timings, yes.
If not, I'm sure they can provide me with a shuttle here to make sure I can catch up. That shouldn't be difficult.
And if not, then we will be happy to wait at Starbase for your attack.
I would hope so. I'll say this should be simple enough. I worry a little bit about the crew being slightly bored on something this routine.
I believe routine will do them good, Captain.
With the high spirits, or rather high, I don't want to say tensions.
There have been a few changes made to crew rota. I believe that having something basic for the crew to maintain operations throughout will be good to ensure things are running smoothly by the time you return.
I'm obviously worrying unnecessarily. I don't expect this briefing to be significant. It's just a simple matter of rearranging the border, making sure that the recovery after the war is going to be sufficiently safe and stable, but the right strategic minds are necessary. I should get my ship. I leave the Iskandar in your hands, Commander. I know everything will be fine. So, I'll see you in a few weeks.
And I shall see you.
Athan leaves. Athan leaves, and I promptly dump all command and responsibility in this part of the game into Talandra. Congratulations, Exit Captain.
I resign.
Did
not sign up for this.
I'm not telling you what to do, Icy, as well as those.
Dang it. That would have made the game so much easier.
Yeah, it would, wouldn't it? Down in engineering on the Iskandar, you've had about 4 days or so since you've arrived at 214. Various bits of, resupply, re-equipment matters, etc., etc. However, it's been a little bit beset by various parts which we're hoping to be received not actually being there yet. And Strange has had a bit of a time with a Lieutenant Vorliad, the materials officer of Starbase 214, who has made it down there along with a delivery of various bits of equipment, which does not include certain things which are not essential, but would make Strange's life an awful lot easier. Won't delay departure, but will mean that his hands are way more full running the ship if he doesn't have these parts, such as electroplasma regulator and other technobabble words. So you've got engineering, you've got a slightly portly Bolian fellow, same rank as Strange, various bits of equipment which have been delivered, and Bolian will just, Lieutenant Vorliad will just very simply explain of, I'm very sorry, Lieutenant, but obviously you understand there has to be a certain amount of prioritization of equipment and deliveries.
No, I understand. Fine. Yeah.
Well, then if that's the case, if you're perfectly satisfied with everything that's been delivered, then if you just simply sign the pad, and I can, I'm sure Iskandar has its duties to be about, and I will strike you off any of the materials request lists.
Yes, no, of course. That's strange.
Very good. It makes it so much easier for my job for you to be so considerate of these delays, Lieutenant. Some officers would have been more difficult about the entire affair.
Strange carefully doesn't say anything.
Strange gets a pad. Strange can stick his thumbprint to it.
Yep.
And a fairly self-satisfied materials officer dumps poor Strange with less than ideal amounts of material.
And as soon as the as Vorliad has left,
Mm-hmm.
so just goes, what do I have to do with this lot? Shakes his head and goes about putting everything where it should be from what he does have.
For me to apply any statistical effects upon the Iskandar due to the lack of equipment would require for me to foray into parts of the rulebook I don't want to. So for the moment, we're just going to have to be presuming. Essentially, it's going to be a lot of extra shifts to double check things and a tired and beleaguered engineering crew in Strange's future.
Emily, did you just lift up the Iskandar's actual character sheet?
I did.
I'm so glad someone has it.
So I'm glad it exists.
I
I've
did.
just got
This is
like,
why I waved it at the screen. But yeah, no, we can work out later exactly what to do with it.
mm-hmm.
But yeah, some of the stats could be changed to reflect.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Casey, on the other hand, has a slightly more positive prospect. During his off-duty time and getting to be on Starbase 214, as he's received a message from an old academy friend, an Ensign Walt Forrest, who is security, known to Casey as being a fairly chill and easygoing kind of fella, still an ensign. If he's on a posting like Starbase 214, might not have been, the apex of an officer, but nothing particularly wrong with this fairly easygoing friend. They probably weren't close, like they had some classes together, that sort of thing. Walt wasn't unpleasant, but probably more on the jock end of the spectrum than in Casey, but they're in the same place, and so he's been invited for a coffee and a catch-up down at the Replimat on
Cool.
Starbase 214.
And Casey will make sure that he arrives promptly at the Replimat and kind of look around with a slightly eager glint in his eyes to see someone familiar.
Mm-hmm. Forrest is already there. He's got a table. This is pretty plain fare in terms of any sort of decor or style. It's the slightly more rundown end of Federation technology, but he's there. He's again, obviously Casey's age, slightly tall, slightly thin. Despite his age, he's one of those souls whose hairline is already starting to threaten to recede, but has a fairly easygoing smile and waves him over. And
Hello, Walt.
Casey, it's good to see you. Good to see you.
Good to see you. How have you been?
Oh, it's fine. It's quiet around here. You know, can't complain. Can't complain too badly. But it's a nice station. Nice crew. Nice staff. It's really easy to get on with people. But how's the Iskandar?
Fine. Yes. It's fair to say that we've had our fair share of tribulations, but we've all managed to get through in relatively good order. Some heartbreak, but nothing we aren't getting by.
Heartbreak?
Loss of a friend in active duty, but it was a couple of months ago now.
Still, I'm sorry to hear it. I hope the crew's doing all right. I hope you're doing all right.
I'm very well, thank you. And we shouldn't let it mire this as an opportunity to catch up.
No, it's good. It's important to have friends around because, you know, I thought when I saw your name on the manifest, I thought it would be, you know, good to catch up. And I don't mean, you know, go over old times, but it's important to have friends around, you know, and I miss the academy days sometimes.
It was rather more simple, wasn't it?
Yeah, but, you know, it's great. I've got, you know, great people on the security team. I mean, how's your science team? You get on with everyone? Good bunch of people? I mean, you know, bit more nose to the pad and studying, but good people?
Yes, I mean, that's always how I've liked it. No, there's not a single one in the science division that I would replace.
Sounded pointed.
No, forgive me. That is slightly unfair. I assure you that the crew are all perfectly respectable individuals.
Very polite. Super polite. I'm not looking for gossip. I'm just it. Just, you know, you've got to, like, I know this isn't exactly the most exciting assignment. You know, we get transport shipping, Talarian Republic, and sometimes you've got to worry if the Talarian Republic are going to shoot at us, but that hasn't happened for a while. But, you know, it's important to make sure that the crew's got your back and you've got theirs and that you like them, you know. We're a family out here.
You're quite right. I'm relatively certain they have my back.
That's not at all reassuring, but sure. Sure.
He kind of looks a little troubled and reflective at that.
I mean, you've not been out in this. What have you got? Survey mission? First Nebula?
Yes, I'm quite looking forward to getting into some of the data we can analyze on the back of that. I'm sure it's going to yield some very interesting results. I've been looking at historical data from this sector too, and so there's quite an interesting couple of fluctuations that might just be blips, but if there's any degree of reoccurrence of them, then there might be a pattern that could be worth extrapolating on. Nothing has been flagged up in previous scans, but, you know, I might be the first, and I think maybe my calling might be to find some great discovery somewhere.
Good. And I don't think anything's going to get in the way of it. You know, we're frontier outposts, Talarians on one side, the rest of it's all kind of, you know, unclaimed space beyond the border, so you sometimes get trouble, but not likely the way you're going. I mean, you don't know. Ever had much with Talarians?
I can't say I've had, no.
Yeah. They don't usually trouble us much. It was like 20 years ago when they attacked colonies. Nothing since then. Nothing even close. But,
amicable communication, at least.
Oh yeah, we're in communication. We're still interacting with them. Just, you know, they're a bit of a, what is the proper diplomatic term? Because I was going to say unenlightened, bit more militaristic.
Oh.
But, you know, they're not going to go toe to toe with a Federation ship anytime soon.
Good.
So yeah, your Nebula survey mission should go fine.
Wonderful.
And you guys keep talking from there, you know, the usual let's shuffle anecdotes from out of a pack of memories in that way of when you meet up with someone who you haven't seen for a long time and all you have to talk about is talking about past times and not really building anything new. But it's pleasant enough. you can part ways after a while. Feel comfortable that you've caught up.
Yeah.
And the Iskandar can feel comfortable, aside from poor Strange, that they can set off if they wish for what is indeed considered a fairly routine survey mission out into examining a nebula, which is mostly because it's out in the frontier. It's always more to poke your nose out in something like that.
Is it literally just one of those? We've got a lot of stats on the nebula, but we need people to go around and just get us up-to-date stats, so then we're up-to-date. And you're here, and we're doing proper science.
You're doing some proper science. It's like, it's worth doing. The assignment came in at the same time that Athan was requested.
Not exciting or sexy, but my god, it needs to be done.
And you don't have your captain here, so while you're killing some time...
Get the exciting missions on.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
The entire rest of this is an extended task of scanning. That's what I've got for 3 whole sessions.
Which is strange, since you don't know how the extended task system works.
I make it up as I go along.
Good, because I don't either. We'll just keep bluffing until one of us cracks.
Oh yes, you've got to roll 3 dice, and then you add it afterwards, and then if it's below the ship stats and your... No.
Until then, that was almost right.
Yeah. Yeah, I know how the basic stuff
until
works.
you said ship stats, it was actually... yeah, whatever.
Except for 3 dice. You don't roll 3.
No, because you'd be using the ship, so you would automatically get an assist from the ship. So you would be rolling 3.
I don't know if I'm glad that Emily's here to help, or if I'm sad that she's here to make me look bad.
No, I'm making you look good. You did it right.
Thank you.
You bullshitted so hard you got it right.
Iskandar can set off from Starbase 214 without further incident. If anyone on the crew would request any scenes for... They're about 12 hours, if that, away from... would be the distance to McPherson Nebula. If anyone aboard wants any scenes, now is a good time.
I mean, I know that Talandra, I have in my head the very calm, lovely... You know how every captain has the way they go to the bridge, as
Yes.
a thing that's often set up. And I just see Talandra as just being very sort of calm. And, she steps out from the officers' mess, and she's got a cup of tea, and she's got her pad, and she's just basically going, I'm going to go up to the bridge, and I'm going to command, and I'm going to read some stuff. And it's one of those things that's framed in a really kind of beautifully calm way, and there's gentle music playing, and she's just... That's Talandra's goal, is she's going to go up, be in command. Drink her tea.
Everything's going to be just calm and smooth.
Talandra can chill on the bridge. Casey can sulk.
No, I think
somewhere.
I need to be where the science is now.
Okay, so Casey can sulk on the bridge. You've got your little...
Talandra will have set him the really easy task of acquainting himself with the last couple of surveys that were done in the nebula, so then he can have a look to see if anything interesting pops up.
Indeed, I did kind of fluff the idea that there were a couple of interesting anomalies, but that might be Casey just seeing a slight spike and going...
Oh, there's always... From a certain perspective, there is always something in... it's a nebula. It's still a vastly complicated piece of... It's a vastly complicated phenomenon. It's not as if it's all going to be necessarily routine. And Casey's a nerd, so he might find it interesting. And I think we've established Casey's post at the bridge is... Because I like to have these visuals, is to stick him in where operations is on Voyager, so he gets Harry Kim's seat, which means nothing to Mike.
It means you get the fresh face innocent seat.
Yeah, you get the seat of the innocent who will never be promoted.
Don't tell him that.
I will.
Go gently.
I will jump in for a quick scene, just as idle chatter between Casey and Talandra. he will say, Commander, I happened to meet an old Academy friend whilst I was aboard Starbase 214. I don't know if you wouldn't have heard of him really. Walt, we weren't close, but he seemed quite entertained and satisfied with his station on the Starbase.
It's a worthy profession, Ensign.
He did. The crew is a family. That's a fair assessment, is it not?
It is certainly an assessment, Ensign.
Is it not one you agree with?
It is a appropriately colloquial term for many human crew members to use. I believe it is an affectionate shorthand for when a crew interacts in a close and friendly fashion. It is not one that I was taught to use, but family is very different on Vulcan.
Mm.
For me, it is more important to say that the crew are my crew. That word carries with it all the meaning I require of it.
I like that, yes. I suppose there's quite a few difficulties for attaching too much sentimentality to professional relationships.
On the contrary, Anson, I attach a great deal of sentimentality to my professional relationships.
Oh.
But my crew is my crew, and my family is my family. I never had the honor of serving on my father's ship. But if I had, it would have been far more important to me that he was crew than he was family. You have never served in Starfleet with your mothers.
No.
But you do not love them any less.
That is very true.
You do not respect me any less.
It was an honor to serve under your father.
He was a very fine officer.
He was. Thank you.
Vance and Cantos are just there sipping their drink. Like, it's got intense.
Like, oh, I see. You get a philosophy lesson when Talandra's on the bridge.
Didn't have to put up with this shit when Athan was here.
Tell me about it.
Is Strange doing anything but crying?
Probably just still trying to, bodge around the fact that he didn't get the so okay, so I'm missing this, so I need to bodge it with this. Right. You random engineering ensign, you deal with that problem.
Mm-hmm.
And just getting his engineering department in as close to the kind of order that Gwen would be proud of. As far as he can tell.
Fucking hell. Okay, so that's what Strange is doing.
Yeah, that's what Strange is doing. He's trying to instill, as he's been doing for the last few months, burying his grief in work.
Is the random engineering ensign Rosie Alders from the previous game?
I think she's probably still in recovery.
Oh, fair point, yeah.
Engineering ensign with a name.
Whose name I did not write down. So I'm okay. I'm assuming no one, unless anyone else wants anything with their secondaries to get to.
I don't think anyone needs to be in medical
Not that I'm aware of.
Because the doctor is in.
Of course, the doctor's always in.
That's only because I live next door.
Okay, then cut to the bridge, about 5 hours out from Starbase 214. There is a bleep from the tactical console. Vance, I've got to get his accent ready. It's gonna sort of
Vance.
Vance. Lieutenant Atticus Vance is gonna look at his console. Look back up. Really, Princeburg getting voice now right now. Commander, we've got receiving a distress call from a Starfleet ship, USS Antares, saying that they've been under attack. Shall I put it through?
Put it through.
Presses the button. View screen pops right up with a Miranda-class bridge, a Starfleet officer, red, 3 command pips, slight of build, dark hair, very black eyes. The lighting is dim, definitely emergency lighting. He has got the requisite battering to his uniform and his face going, this is the USS Antares requesting assistance from any ships in the vicinity. We have been attacked by and boarded by Nausicaan raiders. We are on emergency power. Our engines are low. It's definitely injuries and losses, but we're capable of making a full assessment. If anyone is out there, please respond.
Is this a pre-recorded or is this a...
Vance goes, it's coming through. Looks like they've been yelling it for a bit of time, I'm afraid. So we can reply. Shall I put you through direct?
Patch me through.
Patches you through.
USS Antares, this is Lieutenant Commander Talandra of the USS Iskandar.
Iskandar, this is Commander Euphrain, commanding the Antares. It's good to hear you. I think whoever boarded us, definitely Nausicans. They've bugged out, but we're in a hell of a state right now.
What is your condition?
Life support is sustaining. We've definitely got hull breaches on multiple ships. Emergency force fields are holding. Our internal sensors are offline. Our emergency transporters are offline. So whilst sickbay has got injured, there could be more injured scattered across the ship. We can't get to them, and if we can't necessarily easily move them. I've got missing personnel. I've no idea where the hell my XO is. We need help.
Put yourself on full defensive. We'll be there as soon as we can.
And so far as what we've got.
Maintain communications link with the Iskandar and I'll be in touch.
I'll have sense telemetry sent direct. Antares out. View screen goes blank.
Lieutenant Vance, when the telemetry gets here, I want a full scan. I want a full breakdown of the critical condition of the ship. Cantos, I want to find out how quickly we can get to that ship without compromising the floor of that.
Already on it, Commander.
Bridge to engineering.
Strange here, go ahead.
Lieutenant Strange, we are shortly to be jumping a little faster than we intended to be. We have a ship in distress, and we'll need to get there as soon as Lieutenant Cantos has a plotted. I believe the ship has sustained serious damage, and we will be required to send an away engineering team. Please prepare.
Aye, Commander, will do. Do you have any idea as of yet how badly damaged and what's badly damaged on the distressed ship?
Captain's report indicates hull breach and damage to the ship attacked by raiders. We will be getting a full report soon.
Aye, Commander. I'll start preparing accordingly. Okay.
As soon as I know, you will, Strange.
Summary, Vance will soon enough report that he's got data from the Antares. He reports that it is incomplete, because obviously the Antares is in such a state that they're even having difficulty doing a full assessment of their own damage. multiple hull breaches, impulse engines are offline, transporters are offline, warp drive is offline. Obviously, they're having problems with their power arrays, though it's as yet unclear as to what the specific problem is with the power flow on the ship, and injuries, and a Miranda class has a crew of 225. They're already at good 50 who were in some way incapacitated, with anticipations that that number is only going to go up as injuries are found and come in. For Cantos, you're all of about 15 minutes out at high warp.
Yep. Council, will you relay that information to the commander?
Mm-hmm. You can, I presume.
You can get us there in about 15 minutes, Commander.
Vance, prepare an away team to accompany the engineers.
Understood. Commander, do you wish this to include any medical assistance?
Yes, I will be in touch with Dr. Burov, ensure that the medics and engineers are well covered. We do not know if these raiders will return.
Of course.
Oh no. Now I have to communicate with medical.
It's your turn.
It's hard, isn't it? Everyone has to go through this nonsense.
Everybody has to do it.
I haven't yet.
I don't think I've done it yet, though.
Yes, you were the first.
You were the first, because
Yeah.
Cantos and Strange have to coordinate.
Because we dumped Cantos in charge.
Remember?
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to do this. It's going to be fine.
Anyway.
Bridge to medical. Medical here. Go ahead. Dr. Burov, we are shortly to be arriving at a ship that has sustained heavy damage from Nausicaan raiders. They are declaring a good quantity, perhaps even 50 of their crew incapacitated, injured or dead. We will need a full medical team to go over with tactical protection and an engineering crew to ensure that the ship is as cared for as possible. I understand, Commander. Do we have any information about the nature of the injuries sustained? Are we talking people have been blasted into space and they will die and we cannot save them? Or are we talking people have been shot with phasers, which is a little bit more the speed of an emergency team? Also, are we getting there soon? Because I will need to put together some complicated medical procedures if it's going to be really complicated. We'll be arriving at the ship in approximately 15 minutes. Prepare as best you can. I will send in more information through when it gets to me. Bridge out.
You hang up on yourself successfully.
No! Medical out!
Anyway. The ship can catapult itself merrily across to merrily to go help dying Starfleet officers.
The way Cantos flies the Iskandar, that merrily is pretty much the only way that it goes about its business.
In fact, yeah, I'm going to let you make a helm and control roll. It will be a difficulty, con and control, difficulty 0, but who knows?
Maybe some numbers will go up.
Maybe some numbers will go up, and maybe you'll screw it up.
Let's find out. That is a no success roll, but none of them are 20s. So it's all good. Nothing changes.
It stays still.
In stasis.
It's a difficulty 0, so it's more to find out if anything's gone wrong. But it hasn't, nor has it gone particularly fine. You arrived there in the 15 minutes, as anticipated.
No barrel rolls.
Yeah.
Not after the last time.
Yes, you can arrive.
When we pull in, we'll engage communications again to ensure that nothing shonky has happened.
Yeah. This is Commander Euphraine. Iskandar, it's good to see you here.
Has anything changed in the 15 minutes since we last spoke?
No, I'm having to have emergency teams going from deck by deck, trying to do a sweep. Any assistance with that would be particularly useful. If you're capable of conducting a medevac of some of the more injured, power down in medical is sufficient for, at least according to Dr. Danzel, is sufficient for basic injuries, but anything more serious, he doesn't want to be relying upon the equipment and the power. We're still incapable of doing a full diagnostic because of internal sensors. Any help, and there are going to be crew missing. There are going to be crew trapped somewhere, or it's all down to manpower right now.
Captain Euphrain, if you focus all of your attentions on the missing crew persons, that is something that I believe is firmly within your wheelhouse. I shall send over my Chief of Engineering and a full medical team to assist.
Much appreciated, Commander. That's absolutely necessary.
Are your shuttle bays preparing to accept shuttles, or were they damaged in the attack?
The shuttle bays are fine for shuttles, and if you can transport anyone out once you've made an assessment, I'm sure that will be fine.
Very well. Stand by.
Comms?
Yeah. Bridge to Lieutenant Strange.
Strange here, go ahead.
Please coordinate with Dr. Burov and prepare to take a shuttle to the damaged ship. The ship will require full diagnostic. You are empowered to perform any repairs you deem necessary. Should you need more from the ship, please get in touch. Take whichever personnel you feel you need. Lieutenant Vance is going to be accompanying you for tactical support.
Aye, Commander.
Vance will pipe up a bit of this. Commander, obviously I'll go wherever it is that you need me, but considering the possibility of any risk of these Nazgûl pirates out here, I could send a deputy if you still wish me at tactical.
Remind me, Vance's specialties, he's more the hands to hand, I've got a phaser, I'm more of a commando marine than I've modified the torpedo bays to do some switchy tactical.
I mean, he wouldn't be the modify the torpedo base, but he's perfectly experienced and competent as a bridge officer as
I'm
well.
just tapping into my mental knowledge of how best people operate.
And also, you have a mic secondary if Strange is going to stay on the bridge.
That is true. In which case, I will leave that decision in your hands, Lieutenant. It is your department, you know it best.
All right. In which case, I'll be sending Lieutenant Zal down with the team and remain here, if that's all right, Commander.
Quite acceptable, Lieutenant Vance.
Wherever poor Lieutenant Zal is, presumably down in the
Working
security
out.
office. First scene, Lieutenant Zal, when, ship's at yellow alert and there's a bit of tension. What's the camera first show?
It would probably, to give him something iconic and emblematic of the character, he would probably be helping, moving people to safe locations if we're on yellow alert. I imagine this is, you need to be either in a department or in a dorm or a habitat, kind of not in the corridor. So he's doing the kind of, just steering people around way.
With his arm steps.
He's just the buffest Andorian you've ever seen.
Just to get people to move, he just flexes in the right direction.
That way.
I was going to say, what does he look like? But I'm expecting it to be blue and muscular.
Blue, white hair, muscular.
They call me Lieutenant Safety Muscles.
Has antenna, indeed. Has an interesting holster on his utility belt, for want of a better word. Do we have belts? We have belts. but that's very closed off. Like whatever is held within is just completely sealed away. But that's on the side opposite to where his phaser is holstered. No unique distinguishing features. Very Andorian.
Very Andorian. Okay. Yeah, his comm goes, and it's advanced to Lieutenant Zal.
Yes, Lieutenant.
We're going to be needing to send a medical team over to the USS Antares. I would appreciate it if you would lead a security accompaniment for their safety and to lend any assistance as is necessary to the crew of the Antares.
Yes, sir.
Pick your team, get down to... we're transporting safely, aren't we? You hear Vance say on the bridge. Vance consults. Was Talandra intending on sending through the shuttle bays or to the transporters?
It is my intention, Lieutenant, to transport personnel through shuttles, so that the shuttles will be there to transport back those who cannot be teleported.
Then get down to Shuttle Bay 2 and report and meet the medical team there.
Confidently, sir.
All right, pick your men, get down there, advance out.
He will literally grab like the 3 nearest orange shirt, gold shirts, and underarm them. No, he will grab 3 NPCs.
Yeah, you grab some mooks.
You bench press the mooks, and then you take them to the...
And I pick 3 different guys for the mission.
you, and you. I'm a botanist. I was going home. Come with me. Okay. So, our folks for heading down to the shuttle bay can arrive, as we've got all of the relief work that is necessary.
Walking in slow motion.
Walking like bosses. So yes. You're there, you've got a shuttle. Does Burov want to be Burov with them? Do you just want to get in and go?
Oh my word. Oh. Goodness gracious.
Not that Burrow. That's a bit too Burrow.
It's Burov time.
Jesus Christ.
I don't think I expressly stated it, but for the purposes of this away mission, Talandra has put Strange in charge of the away team.
Excellent. Excellent.
Because this is a matter of engineering, Strange is the ranking officer and the one with the most relevant expertise.
It's true. Strange has got to be higher in the chain of command than Burov.
I think Strange is the...
No, Kantos is the second officer. I think then it goes probably Vance, then Strange.
Yeah.
We can fight about this later.
We can fight later. But okay, Strange. So yeah, Strange has got his security team. Strange has got his engineering team.
But he's got a security team. Just
Zal.
Yeah, there's a security team, and then technically they're mine.
That's true.
I'm the one in charge.
Ready when you are, Lieutenant.
Yeah. Well, you got everybody you need?
Yes, Lieutenant.
Burov, got everything you need? Right, let's go.
You can board the shuttle. A minor helm officer starts to whisk you away out of the shuttle bay and out into the open space. And this is certainly for all 3 of you, in fact, the first time you will have actually seen the state of the Antares, because none of you have been on the bridge. If there was anything else out there, it does appear to have been long gone. But you can see the Antares as a Miranda class. This is a beautiful, old, classic Starfleet ship, and there is practically a chunk missing from the saucer section. The hull is scored and scarred with disruptor fire and impact. Definitely whatever hit the saucer was some sort of torpedo. It doesn't necessarily... hang on. I'll hold that off. there is no light from the nacelles. They have lost all power, and the ship is just dead in space, just drifting. Strange. No, this is easy. Make me a nothing, difficulty 0, engineering and insight. Yeah.
Well, that's a 20.
Threat go
Oh.
up.
Let go up. And that's a 9. So there is 1 success and 1 complication in that.
Okay. So technically it's a momentum as well.
Don't know what it means. I just thought a gasp was making.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I guess it's appropriate.
Mm-hmm. There is nothing. The main thing is, because this was difficulty 0, is there is nothing immediately unusual about the state of damage by the nature of the damage. From what you know, like Norscan pirates came from the sorts of things that weaponry that they will be carrying. It looks like a torpedo hit the saucer section. That's bad. It looks like disruptor blast along the hull. That's bad. That's it. Nothing unusual in the nature of the damage at an eyeballing strikes you. If you wish to spend the momentum for more information immediately, you may do so.
Yes, I am going to do that.
Okay. It's more of a look-see at this point, because Strange obviously has no idea about the nature of the enemy ships and their attack. But
Yep.
this is despite the fact that the nature of the damage is normal. The extent is quite surprising because Miranda's an old ship, but this ship got hammered. This ship got real hammered, and you don't see any debris, or even there's no signs of they took anything else out with them. So that's might have been a shitload of pirates, might have been really big,
Or really big pirate.
but they've taken a hammering. Those ships fought in the Dominion War. They're not made of cardboard.
Yeah.
Okay, the shuttle can make its way across and conduct a slightly more difficult landing operation, which I would care about more if we didn't have just a random NPC piloting the shuttle. Unless actually one of the senior staff does any one of you want to be flying this shuttle, because it's Star Trek and player characters do everything.
But of the player characters, it's Kantos and Talandra who are the two
Trained.
They're
pilots.
the 2 main pilots.
Yeah, but
Like, everybody's probably got at least a little bit of experience of flying something.
I'll
Zal,
give it a go.
Zal has con, and I like the idea of generating more threat. So
I know. I didn't say this was going to be difficulty 0. Excuse me, I didn't say that, because the main. I'll operate whenever I can, even if you've got teams under the premise of PCs do the things, unless you were all going to say we're all shit at con. But
I have 2.
I have 4.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, no, you do it.
Coming in on the approach to the shuttle bay, part of the problem is that because there is the Antares is in a bit of a drift, there's a certain amount of slightly more complicated compensation to come in line with the Antares for landing. So I'm going to make this a difficulty 1 con, and I'm thinking control, just for a precise landing.
That is 2 successes.
Okay. If I don't know what you'd spend the momentum on right away, but
I'll
if
bank
you
it.
want, yeah.
Also, remind me when scenes end so I can detract momentum as well.
This is still. I'm going with this. Still one scene. So you come in and you land. You can bring it in. You can compensate for the situation, for the fact that you've got like little to no interaction with any kind of the Antares' computer to help you on the way in, or any of the usual things of this ship, and come down into a gloomy emergency lighting lit shuttle bay. You can see through the windows that there is a handful of officers waiting at doors. You can land the shuttle, and definitely the force field keeping the cold vacuum of space from you is working in the shuttle bay, and you can disembark. Waiting for you is a human female in security gold, operations gold, pips of a lieutenant junior grade, red hair in a long tight braid, slightly squarish features, who looks rather relieved as you all disembark. And it comes over. Crew of the Iskandar. I'm Lieutenant Kelly. I'm security chief on the Antares. You're a sight for sore eyes. Where can I help you be?
Well, I imagine Dr. Budov will be wanting to go towards your sick bay.
I believe there was talk of injured.
Yes, yeah, we've got injured. We're still, finding out just how many, but yes, we've got injured. The commander, Euphrain, is still on the bridge. The XO is still unaccounted for.
Do you still have a chief medical officer?
Dr. Danzel is alive, kicking, being himself down in security.
Superb. I love people who are themselves.
Good. She looks between clearly the two lieutenants in gold for a moment and goes, Lieutenant Renat would probably be happy to see engineering assistance.
Yes, I'm the chief engineer from the Iskandar, so it's Lieutenant Renat? Renat. Are they the chief engineer? Or... Chief
engineer is accounted for. I'm accounted for. The doctor's accounted for. The chief science officer's incapacitated. We're trying to get staff to check in with their immediate superiors and department heads to make sure that we've got a head count. But this is all. In some cases, this is happening by hand.
Of course.
Really, if we could get the chief engineer will let you know about the repair priority.
Yes, no, of course.
I'm going to be continuing a deck-by-deck sweep to try to find people. I've got teams doing it. Any assistance there would be appreciated.
Val, I believe that sounds like your wheelhouse.
Yes, Lieutenant. I'll happily make myself your acquaintance, Lieutenant Kenny.
That's great, Lieutenant Zal. If you'll be with me, I'll get people to escort engineer and doctor down to where you need to be, and we'll carry on our deck-by-deck sweep.
Very good.
If you'll all come with me.
Read on.
Scene. Whoop. Who are we moving on to first? Let's start down in sickbay.
Your little face.
I'm excited.
Kelly's security escort Burov and their staff down to sickbay, which is in full crisis mode. It's one of the places which gets good lighting even in emergency. Even the injured are spilling out into the corridor, in that there's clearly quite a bit of triage going on around here, as those who you're walking by are like head wounds and signs of burn injuries and that sort of thing.
So just so I have the information in my head,
Mm-hmm.
The Iskandar has a pretty decent sick bay,
Yes.
both in quality and in quantity.
Yes.
And Burov has an ability, has a talent in triage anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll have prepared mostly for a triage situation.
Yeah.
And we are able to beam people back to the Iskandar.
Yes. The problems with beaming would be entirely upon Antares' side, and also so they can't. Their transporters are offline, but there's no reason why that you've been given no reason to suspect that there's any problem with sensors or anything which would interfere with Antares, with Iskandar beaming people off the Antares.
Well, I imagine as part of the emergency ship triage thing, there's like transport boosters or something that can at least be like, this person here.
Yeah, you'd probably want
all of him.
presumably signal boosters, etc. But considering that you can pick up com badges from orbit, I see no reason why Antares couldn't go, these com signature specific people, get them out, and Iskandar could do it.
Yeah, that involves trusting that everything's compos mentis on a damaged vessel.
Yeah, that's true.
Nevertheless, Dr. Burov with their team, they're small but talented team, plucky, you might say.
Plucky team.
Will approach Dr. Danzel.
Yes. Yeah. So you step inside sickbay, and it's busy. It's frantic. It is not necessarily a complete sea of chaos, but it's not good. And clearly, the handful of staff who are there are a bit overburdened. Dr. Danzel is in the middle. He's human. He probably in his 50s, white hair, kind of willowy. And Charlotte, I don't care if his arm is going to come off. Right now, he's not going to die from it, so he can sit and wait out there while I'm trying to make sure that the science chief doesn't have her brain fall out onto my floor. Okay? Out, out, out. And then turns and spots Burov. Who the hell are you?
Dr. Arkady Burov, USS Iskandar.
Brilliant. Are they all doctors, nurses, trained people? You didn't bring me some scientists?
I have no idea why I would have done this.
No, I don't know either, but people are doing a lot of things, and I don't know why they're doing them.
You appear to be conducting a symphony. May I?
Sure.
Right. I want triage all down that corridor. I want those people moved. I want transport dots on him, her, and maybe him. I want all of these people transported back to Iskandar immediately. Move!
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Quite right, Doctor. Now, where can I be useful?
You can be useful in helping me save the science chief's life.
Wonderful. I came prepared. And then we'll open the lunchbox, away box, into a delightful array of portable surgery. And just looks like they're having a thrilling old time. Now tell me, what is the problem here? Yeah, they will say while getting a scanner out and beginning a medical scan because doctors can't help themselves.
Yeah. And so,
Okay.
if you, they're shot in the head with a disruptor. So we're talking some serious burns, and I definitely some internal bleeding, and I haven't yet managed to get a full assessment of the situation, but I'm worried about a lot of things.
I can see why you would be worried about a lot of things.
So your ship's actually going to fix this problem? Get, everything running and give me all of my damned equipment working?
I mean, I have an incredible amount of faith in Lieutenant Strange's ability to do that. But I am here to fix the people. And then the people, they will fix the ship. It's like a magnificent network of getting things done.
You get to work. There are a lot of people.
There's a lot of talk of surgery.
There's a lot of talk of surgery and medical things. Medical words are had.
Much medicine.
Much medicine.
Microsutures.
Wow.
Yeah.
Those who are safe to obviously triage, those who are safe to transport, and yet definitely need specific help are being shipped off. And
Burov will have made sure that their second was back in sick bay, so that there's...
Yes, yeah. Hasn't just brought everyone. Let's take them to the Iskandar. There's nobody there.
You just said send them back to the Iskandar.
That's the EMH.
I like the EMH. We get on.
No.
We're friends.
No, please, no. Not again.
Yeah, Dr. Burov will be very gently being quite bossy, but in a helpful way.
Yeah.
And always in that really gentle way of just going, oh, of course you meant this, and so I'll do this, and never like realizing that the Doctor is one of those challengey, shouty kind of men, and going, oh, well, I'll never challenge him. I'll just do the thing, and then he can't challenge me because then he'll look bad.
To be fair to Denzel, whilst he is challenging and shouty, he, so long as people are doing something, he doesn't seem to get as shouty. He seems to have been doing direct shouty at a lot of staff who were dithering. And for whatever, well, actually, yeah, they seem, you know how a sick bay gets run. They respond quite well to the shouty when dithering. It soothes them. They have to do something, and that something isn't dithering.
And then the moment that they're stood there doing something, and then it's Burrough that leans in and goes, hello, I need you to clear this up and go over here and get me 2 of those and move this man, he's bleeding everywhere. That the Dr. Denzel just goes,
yes.
Ah, they sent me a CMO, a proper CMO.
CMO. Things in sickbay start to improve. Down into engineering, which is, again, in a similar amount of crisis. In that way that things are of dim lighting only from some panels, and there aren't actually that many staff down in there. Presumably they're out having to fix shit. And the warp core is dim, and stood at the console is a who the fuck species is she? Did I specify? Who the fuck are you? Some.
Sorry, you seem to have broken into by saying, what the fuck's species?
I've got various stories about Lieutenant Renat. Didn't bother to assign them a species.
What are you?
What are you?
What are you?
I don't like it.
He comes in and he looks into engineering and just goes, the fuck are you? That is not how strange, actually. Just to clarify.
I think that she's a Qatarian, which means that she's got she's got head ridges. What do you fucking want from me? They're canon, but for the purposes of this, she's just only need to worry about her head ridges and cat-like eyes. For those of you keeping track at home, that is the race of the non-human parent of Naomi Wildman. And she, as the door opens, you see this young officer sort of start and turn, and then look incredibly surprised when a whole bunch of clean Starfleet officers walk in. Oh, you must be the emergency support team.
Yes.
Yes.
James October and Alexander Temper. Shake Kanat. Lieutenant Strange, USS Iskandar.
Lieutenant Renat, she shakes hand, both two-handed, sort of very firm grip. Right, mostly we're trying to make sure the power relays across all the different decks are working. I'm definitely having some problems from deck 15 through to 20, and sensors are offline. If I can get the power relays they're working, I've got a team out there to do that, then hopefully we'll be able to locate some of the various different life signs. If obviously we can get the warp core up and running again, that will make everything easier. If your team could get to work on that, I suppose that would probably be the best allocation of any of our help. But
yep.
It's just triage of trying to make sure that we can save lives has had me have to send my staff out to try to fix things. But if you could get the warp core running, we can get an awful lot of other processes up and running again.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you need anybody else on getting the power relays up and running, or have you got enough staff for that?
I have staff on it. It will take the time, I suppose, that it's going to take. I still haven't managed to do a full diagnostic of all of the damage across all of these matters, and the front section of the saucer section is, I don't believe that any of the damage there is worsening, but that is a concern.
Right.
But Commander Euphrain was a little non-specific on the situation up on the bridge. He's a good captain.
Yes. Well, let's get that warp core up and running, shall we? And then we'll sort out the other problems as they come up.
You can get to work on.
Let's have a look at this.
Make me a difficulty. I was going to. It's gonna have to be 2 rolls because you got to diagnose this shit first and then maybe do something about it. So, yeah, make me. Don't want to. What's the default? Because I don't want to just smack you with insight, which just seems to be the thing about figuring shit out. Reason? No, make me a make me an engineering and reason check.
Difficulty is
1.
1. Oh, it does. That is 6, and that is 18, which doesn't work, just about. So that is 1 success.
Non-success. Okay. Yeah. Good news. And presumably Renat would have mentioned something along these lines that there doesn't seem to be any particular damage to the warp core directly. There's no risk of breach, and so from a safety and also from an ease of repair perspective, that's pretty good news. You're looking at various connectors, and the plasma intake is massively damaged, and so obviously default shutdowns have occurred, and so repairing that should be able to allow you to boot the engine back up.
Yeah. What I've kind of got in my head is plug back in the bits that have come unplugged, flip the fuses, replace any bits that have been shorted out, turn it off and on again.
Yes.
Throw it back up and running.
Yeah, considering from a lot of your observations, if a lot of the damage was to the exterior of the hull, nothing hit that deeply because you've got to keep the warp core nice and deep within a ship if possible. So that will take some time, but make me as this is fairly straightforward, make me a control and engineering check for going through work, which is difficulty 1 again. However, I am going to expand the risk of complication from 19 to 20 because you're dicking around with the warp core.
Yeah, that's fine. Starship power systems, warp mechanics, those sound like relevant focuses.
Yes.
How are we for momentum?
You have
0 momentum?
0 momentum.
In that case, I will not use any momentum.
Was that expansion from UCAT expenditure a threat?
No, that's just
just expanding the threat range.
Yeah, that wasn't threat. Oh, yes, I wasn't spending threat. That was the nature of the difficulty.
Going for up. So instead of it just being on a flat 20 that we get a complication, it's now 19 or 20. Control engineering, yeah?
Yes.
Boo. None of them fall under the focus level. However, that is 2 successes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, you can get to work.
Strange will send off one of the ensigns who doesn't have a name yet to go replace one of the components that's over there. That's one of the chunky things. It
could be Kingston. You can bring Kingston with you.
Kingston. I forgot about Kingston. Yeah, Kingston will go replace one of the plasma regulators, and the other ensign, who I will name Goodwin, will go off and start kind of checking the wiring and seeing, are there any bits that are shorted out that need replacing, and any bits that have come unplugged over that way. Strange will focus on the area immediately around the warp core itself.
Cool. Scene while you're getting to work, and cut to Lieutenant Quaris Zal, who is heading with Lieutenant Kelly down, in fact, towards the problematic Deck 15, as it seems the sweep is going. Kelly is gone. None of this has gone. I mean, being boarded by Nausicans is never exactly going to be the ideal sort of situation, but we've been pretty badly hit, and more so than you'd expect. this far from the border, you wouldn't expect this many Nausicaan ships, and to attack a Starfleet ship is bold.
Do you think it feels targeted rather than opportunistic?
I don't know. It's definitely troubled Commander Euphraine. Obviously, he's troubled. We've been attacked, but he's not a. I'd feel a lot better if we could find Commander Baltros, the XO, but he would make everything run an awful lot more smoothly around here. But we should really be able to deal with some Nausicaan pirates coming to have a poke at a Starfleet ship of this strength and comp. But here we are.
Just to clarify, Baltos went missing during the attack, not before.
I haven't seen Lieutenant Commander Baltros since the morning briefing. I've had no indication that anything went amiss beforehand. There's various crew who've not been accounted for.
Forgive me, I'm not trying to cast any aspersions. I'm trying to think where logically he might be.
If you're thinking this is a targeted strike and someone's Commander Baltros hasn't been telling Nausicans how to attack us.
That was far from my implication. But if I gave you that impression, I apologize.
Mike, you can make me a security and insight check, difficulty 1.
Security. Only 1 success, but that's what I needed. So yeah.
When she's saying that about Commander Baltros isn't gonna sell them out, she appears entirely sincere, but she seems very specifically troubled by Zal's inference of foul play.
He will, noticing that and noticing what she said earlier about how things would have been smoother had Baltros been around. He's just going to file that away for now, and kind of return to the sweeping of the area. He won't press any further and try and kind of getting back to the routine to hope, to stop her being on her guard about that.
You're sweeping your way down through some of the habitat sections, so it's a bit of a mixed bag on news in that for the most part you're being able to get to check in actually just with security officers with officers who've obeyed their various instructions of stay the fuck in your quarters, and then they can't open the doors. So, and there's been no capacity to easily communicate of get to a rally point. Some people have, you're not encountering many particular injuries. Like, some people have hit their heads because the ship has gone sideways occasionally, and that kind of standard issue thing. But for the most part, Kelly is making sure people are fine, making sure they're not, important in you could be somewhere specifically elsewhere doing something useful right now, and generally actually keeping them in their quarters. Or if the situation seems in some way sketchy, getting them to go to some of the makeshift disaster shelters being set up on the ship, and otherwise taking down some notes. Then you get to one set of rooms, looks like a larger suite, just from the spacings of the doors, where she tries to utilize the kind of emergency bench thingies that they use to open doors without power, and it's tries, doesn't work.
May I?
Of course.
And he'll give it a go.
All right. Make me a
Safety muscles.
security and fitness. check. Difficulty 1.
Okay, security muscles check.
Yeah, pretty much all.
I rolled a natural 1.
Oh,
Hey!
Wah, wah, wah.
You can
Stop
get that
muscles.
door open. You can spend immediate momentum to flex.
Should point out to people who do not know the Star Trek Adventure system. This is
Yes.
a roll low system, not a roll high system. So a natural 1 is good, and a natural 20 is bad,
bad.
because everything about this system is insane.
If we make it about natural ones, that means it's different, and different is cool, right?
We're cool.
We are very cool.
Look at our hoodies, our matching hoodies.
I just didn't like being in the red. It's not my color.
You do you, brother. You do.
He doesn't when he bursts this door open. It isn't like he isn't a showman about it.
Does he
But-
Aragorn it though?
Yeah, it's no. It's just like he's aware that he's generally speaking quite strong. So he's just like, this is the best tool for the job. Let's apply it.
So just for my record, how many ensigns worth is the door? Like, obviously Zal can bench press quite a lot of ensigns. So like,
So yeah.
so like, how many
But if you do an
ensigns?
ensign,
How
how
Is it his
difficult
PB?
to open this door?
I mean, if we're saying one ensign is a difficulty 0 for Zal because he's just that buff, then we're probably still only talking 2 ensigns.
2 stacked ensigns
2
ripped like a
stacked
phone
ensigns.
book.
I mean,
Yeah,
this
like-
is, yeah.
We're talking
No,
2.
like it's like he's got one in each hand and doing bicep curls with an ensign in each hand, sort of level.
Yeah, are we talking like 2 Kantos sort of size ensigns, or are we talking like 2 Burov size ensigns? Because Burov is a twig. Like,
Whereas like Kantos is reasonably buff. So
yeah. Or are we talking like Vance? Are we talking someone who could be
Yeah.
Zal's equal?
Anyway.
These are the questions the fans need answering.
You managed to haul the door. You managed to haul the door open,
both ensigns of the door.
and it's definitely there's been some various bits of furniture and a whole interior wall panel that has ended up like pressed up against it and that door, and that's made it just difficult to open. Considering it's sideways, you don't have to push the entire wall panel, but it's just made things a bit more stiff, and like a bit of debris sort of falls out of the door, but it's easy enough to sidestep it. Kelly swears in a Starfleet appropriate manner. Gets out her light, shines it in. Is there anyone in there? We need to take a look. You can pick your way, the two of you, over the bits of debris to inside, and this is definitely a large, as I say, it's a large suite. It probably looks like a VIP suite.
He will comment on that. Like,
Yeah.
what did this used to be?
This was our guest suite. Have been escorting a team of specialists, but I've no idea if they were in here at the time or not.
Specialists in what area?
Some Starfleet Command individuals, not a science team. I think they must be some sort of strategic team of. We were taking them to a meeting of. I'm not in. You'd have to ask the commander about it.
Understood.
You start to kind of rifle your way through bits of the debris, trying to look for anything. People. Definitely, this place will have been inhabited, but Starfleet officers don't have a lot of stuff, so there's no sign of anything particularly significant. Zal will enter into one of the nearby rooms, and that's where he'll spot flat out on the floor, definitely with a burn on their shoulder, an officer, well, technically a petty officer. Burn on the uniform looks like a disruptor injury, flat out on the floor.
He will call for Lieutenant Kelly at that,
Come in.
but then approach. He doesn't have any medicine training, or like the Starfleet basic, so he keeps that kind of a little bit of distance, so that if Kelly does have that expertise, she can apply it.
Yeah, she goes over and will find out what Kelly can achieve.
Murders
just kills.
kills
him.
this man.
Medicine, and what are you gonna do? Medicine, just a basic diagnosis. I'm gonna actually make this daring, because even though she's not necessarily doing anything, it's kind of like heat of the moment. Rah, shit. Actually, she's pretty good at that. Okay, yeah. Well, she gets one success. Let's feel he's alive. He's like, this is Lieutenant Athena. He's petty officer. Sorry, this is Petty Officer Athena. He's one of mine. The pulse is reasonably strong, but yeah. We should probably try to get them to your ship. I don't know how good if the internal communications are even doing anything.
Very well. Hit the comms. Zal to Iskandar.
Iskandar here, go ahead.
Requesting 1 emergency transport to med bay, Commander.
Is it possible to lock onto their position?
Yeah, that's going like that's that could be conveyed in the way in which they managed to do it without saying anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Authorizing beam to sickbay. There's the team on standby.
The Petty Officer Athena disappears in a little shower of lights, and Kelly sort of straightens up. Athena was on security guard for Commander Loxley's team, but
no sign of Loxley's team.
They may have been in the mess hall. They were Starfleet officers. Athena wasn't supposed to be their shadow. You know, they didn't need escorting everywhere.
Does rather beg the question why he would remain specifically here.
Paperwork, all sorts of matters. We'd have to ask Athena if they make it through.
Seems like the incursion of the raiders got quite deep into the ship.
If they were here, yes. The reports of that they made scattered boarding parties. They dropped our shields incredibly rapidly. They came out of nowhere. We're deep within Federation. Well, we're not that deep. We're deeper within Federation space than to be anticipating borders. They came for a very sudden strike. 2 ships drawing our attention, and then a third dropped out of warp almost on top of us. With some precise strikes, our shields went down, and then we had boarding parties attacking, I assume, sabotage at the time, or trying to steal anything in a grab and run. They're pirates.
Have you managed to conduct any scans to see if there are any Nausicaans left on the ship?
No, but there have been no immediate reports of anything.
Well.
We've been sweeping around. There might be, but if there's been no indication of it. And also I assume that your sensors would have picked that up.
Likely. Are you well, Lieutenant?
I'm worried and stressed, and my ship has just been attacked by a bunch of Nausicaans. How are you, Lieutenant?
Willing to help.
Good. I suppose we should press on.
Yes.
Okay. I will end the scene there, and I will let us take a little break then, at that point. Shocking surprise to everyone.
Egads!
Egads. So, we'll be back in 5 to 10. So,
Get some tea.
Get some tea.
Get some tea.
Tea break.
Tea break.
See you soon.
Bye.
And welcome back, Trash Fam. Gosh, what a lovely tea break that was. I hope you got a nice cup of tea. I did. I have a very nice orange cream chai, which...
Oh, it's not a paperclip!
Why would it be a paperclip?
Yeah, I realized that when you said it earlier, but I didn't tell you.
I assumed it wasn't a paperclip, but it looked like one.
No, it's a tea.
Yes, but the other end. I could only see the other end sticking out of the mug. Anyway,
Well,
aside from tea...
Aside from tea, which is very, very, very important, we are currently in an episode of Star Trek Adventures, Iskandar, run by the 4 people that you see in front of you here. It would take far too long to explain, but if you missed the first half of this episode, where the heck were you? You have missed the crew of the Iskandar, sans their captain, who has gone on a conference or some such, and has left the ship in the capable hands of its first officer, have come across the crew of the USS Antares, who have been attacked by raiders and required much help from the crew of the Iskandar. Such help they have provided, but has led to mysterious goings-on, and some not mysterious. It's just straightforward, people being injured and needing a doctor. I'm going to hand you back over to our GM, Kath, to tell you more, and maybe explain what the heck all this business is about.
Okay. As we're going to be doing a little bit of time moving on while Budov helps down in sickbay and Zal flexes to help Lieutenant Kelly, and Strange gets to work trying to fix a warp core. Is anyone wishing to be doing anything specific? Have any specific conversations amongst the 3 of you?
I'd probably quite like to find like a discreet way to check in with Strange.
Oh, like you'll get chances to like you and Kelly will be able to sort of separate a bit while you're rummaging, and like you've got various teams. So if you want to have a discreet comm chat, you can do that.
Zal to Lieutenant Strange.
Strange here, go ahead. Is everything alright?
Everything's fine. I'm just going to give you a bit of a situation report. We've recovered one lieutenant, which we sent to the Iskandar for immediate treatment. Petty officer. Sent to the Iskandar for immediate treatment at Lieutenant Kelly's behest.
Mm-hmm.
However, it seems that they were transporting a team of specialists to some sort of strategic meeting, none of whom have been accounted for yet. Kelly was surprisingly uncertain about that.
That's weird.
Similarly, I couldn't help but notice a small measure of, not hostility, defensiveness from Kelly when I believe she read more inference in what I was saying than was intended, of the idea that Commander Baltros might have been in part responsible or colluding with the raiders. That was by no means the intent of my questioning, and I dropped it soon after, but I'm aware both of an almost protectiveness she has over Baltros, and definitely said words to the effect of how something like this wouldn't have happened had Baltros been around. I am by no means trying to cast any wild theories or speculation at this point, but it is...
Sure, it's not really enough data there to start coming up with a theory, but certainly it's starting to look like there's something's up.
I will let you know if I find anything else out.
Yeah, see what else you can find out, especially about this Baltros. It sounds like there's something going on with them.
True, although I recommend line of inquiry with other members of the crew, sir, just in case there's something that she is unwilling to tell me that someone else might.
Yeah. Understood.
Thank you, sir. Zal out.
No problem.
Strange. Does Strange want to do anything?
What's her name? Ranat's up to at the moment.
She has a console that basically looks like she's doing damage control command center. As information starts to come back in. Over this point, some of the power junctions around some of the lost decks are starting to come back online, so she's getting a bit more information. Although internal sensors are still heavily limited.
Yep. And how's the patching up of the warp core?
Yeah, you're working through it.
Pretty
It's coming along. You're pretty close.
Pretty close. Okay, so yeah, not unreasonably strange.
Mm-hmm.
Put that down for a moment and go over to Ranat's console.
Lieutenant,
How are we looking?
matters are coming along. Yes. I'm hoping that if we can allocate sufficient power to the internal sensors in the damaged regions, we should be able to find out, ascertain, and speed up Lieutenant Kelly's efforts to try to find any more trapped officers, I suppose, would be the best way of putting it. How's the warp core?
Yeah, no, it's coming along. We're pretty much there, to be honest. Just a couple more things to hook back up, and then she'll be back up and running.
Good. I'm very pleased. I mean, obviously, this is your job, but I'm still terribly grateful to you all for coming along and helping us in this.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I'd be incredibly grateful to anybody who came over if my own ship was in trouble. So.
Oh no, of course, we have to make sure keep our ships running. They rather expect us
Keep
to.
the ships running, and then they keep your crew running.
Yes, well, the crew will keep. Well, everyone will do their job on the Antares. There's going to be some rattling, and we're not exactly used to this sort of. I mean, who's really used to this? But well, since the war, we've not seen any combat. So,
what was the Antares doing out this way anyway?
Escorting some VIPs, I believe, is the particulars of it. Somewhere down in, I'm actually not sure which sector, but I think we're still a few days out. Anyway, you'd have to ask Commander Euphraine, I think, for the full particulars. I assumed it was probably supposed to be very simple, and now it's not.
Not easily. Simple things, and then suddenly they become very not simple.
I mean, I suppose Commander Euphraine wasn't. I mean, none of us were expecting this, but Commander Euphraine, I suppose, it seemed rather tense. But he's
Tense?
I mean, he's not. Look, tensions are high. A lot of people are going to be saying a lot of things. Some people find Commander Euphraine a little unfriendly, I suppose. But he's very smart. He's very smart. He knows what he's doing. And we work together very well. So I think that some people can be a little unkind to him because he's not. When I say he's not nice, again, I don't mean that nastily, but he's just not. He's not nasty. He's just not very nice. He's not very warm. He's not.
Yeah, no.
Yes.
I think I see what you mean. What about him? So.
Commander Baltros. He's a lovely man. He keeps everything running, keeps everyone happy. They work very well together. They're a good team. I hope he's all right. I know that he hasn't been.
Yeah. Well, hopefully he'll turn up once we get these power systems up and running.
Yes. If we get them up, we'll be able to find the commander, which would be good.
Right. So yeah, you've not got any more information at this stage on what's the next most badly damaged bit that needs repairing, or do?
I think once the warp core's up, we can allocate more power to the sensors, and then, to be fair, we should be able to have a fairly good. And we're getting information obviously coming over from Iskandar from what they can ascertain about damage. But I think then it will be. Once that's up, I wouldn't be too concerned. Once the warp core is up, I won't be too concerned about my team being able to crack on more, well, as much help as you can give us, but I'd feel a lot better about us cracking on our own if it once we got to that stage.
No, I understand. Right. Let's get that warp core finished then.
Okay. Strange
Then
can.
goes back to the warp core to continue engineering at it.
Strange can return to work and get things done. Burov's time, if Burov wishes their time in sickbay to carry on being down in sickbay, it is what it is. Unless Burov wants to be Burov at anything particularly, I'm happy to leave Burov there for the moment. But as ever, Burov does what Burov does. Is there anything which, assuming that various updates will have been fed back to Iskandar and to the bridge and to Talandra, is there anything which is wanted to be done by Talandra or Strange? You will have been able to get, as I say, the updates. You'll have been able to conduct some of your own scans of the ship and help utilize that information to aid the crews on the Antares.
Actually, what Talandra will have been doing is operating a pretty broad scan of the area around the Antares for potential raiders or other things, to be honest, but on the incoming, because they will have to be the only line of protection for the disabled ship.
Okay, so you're running mostly a defense perimeter for the ship.
But also for anything interesting like, asteroids or space whales or Klingons, I don't know.
From a suspicious
There's just a
perspective,
blob
or
of
just in case the place is cool?
Commander, we've found something. Is it incoming raiders? No, but there's like a cloud and it's really interesting. Fuck these guys.
Oh my god!
That was the plot you were supposed to all be together for.
The science cloud!
Cut to a court-martial. So you abandoned the Antares? Yeah. Why? There's this cloud. It's really cool. And then me and Strange were like, but me and
Casey.
Me and Casey were like, fuck it. Go do science at it. And then we did Adventure Time for a bit.
I need to be honest, at the beginning of the episode, I forgot Casey's first fucking name, and it's written right there on the screen.
It's Ensign. His first name is
Ensign. His old academy buddy was like, hey, last name.
Hey. Well, to be fair.
Army buddy.
That's true. He was a jock. Okay, you can conduct these various scans. Make me...
Me?
Yes. I guess you're using the... Emily, how complicated is it for us to use the ship for sensors? Okay, if Talandra or will probably be making Strange do it, I'd imagine.
No,
really.
He's not there.
Strange isn't there!
Sorry, not Strange. Sorry, Casey. Trying to make Casey do it, I would imagine, as science.
I haven't got the same last name.
I don't know why I've been doing that a couple of times.
I just did it just now.
Which sad boy is going to be...
I love that the ship mums are like...
And not the sad boy that went on the away.
We do the thing that grandparents do where they're like, oh, Mark, James, Alex, John, Lucy.
Okay. What
Anyway.
does Casey have to do to scan?
You tell him what he's rolling, and then the ship also does a 1d20 roll, using the relevant departments and system instead of attributes. Happily, one of the systems is sensors, so that makes that fascinating.
Emily,
So I'll just use the same department as you get Casey to scan with.
I was about to say, I would like you to do the ship roll, Emily. If I'm rolling 2d20 for Casey, I would like you to roll the d20 for the ship.
I was about to say, I'm probably going to roll the ship rolls anyway, because
you have it, and also she's yours in many ways.
Mike, I'm going to say science and insight, but let me know if insight is the garbage stat for garbage science, because I know
No,
for
it's
command,
one of my strongest.
Then
yeah,
the default.
Insight is definitely the right one to have.
Yeah, cool. It looked right, but I didn't want to be like, my interpretation says this. Like if someone said, you totally need to be using insight for command, but I'd say, fuck off, I want presence.
That is with a natural 1 and a 5, 3 successes.
And a success from the ship.
Ooh, so yeah, that was a difficulty 1. So don't necessarily count the momentum yet. You can. The Iskandar is checking over the area pretty robustly, making sure that there is no sign of any further raiders. There's definitely no sign of anything else in the area. You're not picking up anything weird, although you're fairly confident that your senses now are familiar enough with the area that if anything changed, that you'd be able to pick it up. And the main thing which made this remotely difficult is that you are confident from the hints of the warp trails that there's no indication that those, from what you're picking up, that the Nausicans you are confident that the Nausicans are gone from what you're picking up of the warp signatures.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to bank the momentum or spend it for anything more?
I would like
3 momentum.
Yeah.
We should spend it then. Fuck it.
Yeah, we got a lot. I would like
Emily,
to.
what can we spend momentum on?
As like mostly for more information is what I'd be saying. Is like to make what you've just done better.
More, obtain information. There isn't really an opponent here, so you can't reasonably create a problem for somebody else.
I could create a problem for you.
You could create a problem for Strange if you wanted to.
I will not offer it if it's useless. I'm not saying you should always do it, but with Zal opening the fucking door, I wasn't offering you to make that more awesome with momentum. I will never promise more information.
Sometimes it's really obvious that actually you could, if you're able to do more things.
I will try to be transparent on if it's just there's nothing fucking there. I won't guarantee you'll find anything exciting, but if there's nothing, I will not make you waste momentum.
Yeah.
So,
what the only other thing
Calandra would like to do
based
on that is to, having done a cursory sweep of the area and gone, that's all fine, is to actually scan the Antares, specifically looking at the damage it sustained.
Mm-hmm.
Because Talandra is interested in the sorts, because all we know is raiders, and that's sort of desperately unhelpful.
Yes.
She wants to know sort of, hopefully, she's not super tactical, but she's looking at, she's still got Vance though.
Yeah.
So she'll have Vance looking at the sorts of attacks it sustained, so the nature of the attacks, what they were attacking. Were they attacking to just disable? Were they attacking something in particular? How the ship fought back? Basically spaceship forensics.
Okay. I'll make that one a separate challenge afterwards. So because that will be Vance doing it for a full tactical assessment. So does Casey want to check anything out on the area with that? Does Casey want to spend a momentum or not?
I'm struggling to think of anything to specifically hone in from for that scan.
You don't have to ask specific questions.
How's the gas cloud going?
No, I
okay.
think I'll bank that momentum for now. I can always do another scan if something occurs to me.
Okay, yes, that's true. Bank momentum.
I just want to point out, this tea is lovely. Just,
I haven't even opened Vance's fucking character sheet. He is going to have to do a... Ooh, you've got to analyze shit. I mean, I know I said he was tactical, but this is not his... Suddenly he's now going to be a dumbass.
That's fine. There's the Iskandar.
Yeah. Yeah, this is going to be a reason. This is going to be a security and reason check for Vance. And aided by the ship. The
ship does not pass.
Bad ship.
Vance completely fucking fails. He gets a 17 and an 8. He gets a 17 and an 18. He's
the ship rolled a 16.
Yeah.
Can we spend momentum
after the fact? Yeah, to re-roll. No.
I think we should be allowed to because I said so.
I'm taking a visit determination.
Determination.
But he couldn't trigger it.
Value.
He doesn't have a relevant value.
Check anything in your talents.
I have a value, yes.
No. He didn't spend. He Well, he would. No, he would have only have got like cautious security ahead of time. So yeah, like. He doesn't go like, I don't know, Captain. But
Well, he should.
I know what this will be down to justify my incompetence. Commander, I've got a various array of sensory output and so forth. However, I'm not prepared to make any kind of what?
Conflicting data.
No, I have one. I'm not prepared to make any strong hypotheses until I can get a look at the sensor data from the Antares, anything that they've got left over of their telemetry from the fight itself, so I can confirm some suspicions.
I will keep me informed of your findings.
I can see about. I'll get in touch with them and see what they can get me. He gets to work. Like a sad failure.
He just goes, what the fuck are you doing with your life, Atticus?
Because should have gone on the fucking ship and then I could have flexed in a door.
and then it'd be fucking Zal stood here going, oh, I don't know. I can't press this
No, Zal would have gotten just like 2 natural ones.
Yeah.
Hold on.
What?
Beep
While
solved it.
doing a Oh,
Just, you know,
Does anyone on the
Reg
bridge?
presses the sensor array and
Talandra looks at Vance. Vance, are you okay? You've just been grumbling about Zal for the past hour. I'm sorry.
Does anyone else on the bridge wants to
so
do anything?
warm and muscly.
Look, we have to think of something other. We're going to lose all this momentum because
I think it's too late for that.
Talandra spills her tea and the scene continues for a few minutes while she's thinking.
I'm not saying the scene's going to end. I'm asking you if you want to do anything. Don't have to. Okay.
3 momentum.
No, the scene carries on because you get a bleep bleep from sick bay and whoever the fuck is in sick bay. Who's in sick bay, Burov?
Who is in sickbay? It's a great question. I don't have my notebook on me, so I have to very quickly talk while I get my Google document open.
I don't have to care that much. I mean, if you want me to care.
Okay.
Okay.
These people, it's my sickbay. The person, load.
Dr. Erotica.
Tiny bastard.
I mean,
Oh,
if
the,
Godolph was going to put anybody in sick bay, it would. Anyway.
No, because Dr. Burov would just giggle too much. No, Burov is a professional. What am I talking about? Actually, I can't believe I forgot this. Burov's second, who takes gamma shift in sickbay, is Dr. Moretti.
Dr. Moretti.
Moretti, she is.
Moretti. Okay.
She is a human.
So,
Human.
Human.
I typed
And
human.
Burov is suddenly a Ferengi. Sick bay to bridge.
Talandra here, go ahead.
This is Dr. Moretti. I have a rather distressed Petty Officer Athena from the Antares. He is awake and is saying it's exceptionally important that he speaks with Commander Euphrain.
Did the ensign give any reason why?
He's being rather reluctant to discuss anything other than this matter of of urgent security for the Antares.
Very well, I will be right there. Talandra out. Kantos, you have the bridge.
Oh, I didn't even ask if Kantos wanted to do anything.
Well, Kantos has the bridge now.
Yeah, right, there wasn't a lot for Kantos to do, and now Kantos has got the bridge. And...
Cool.
Okay.
Kantos gets the bridge, and we end the scene.
I didn't want the momentum anyway. It was gross.
And Talandra can get her ass down.
Kantos makes themselves coffee in the chair.
Captain Pose.
They like doing the captain pose.
It's an important pose. Talandra doesn't do it though. She sits completely forward. She's not allowed.
You don't have a lean.
If
So,
we
yes.
the fact that it's a really stupid way to sit in chairs, like Kantos would sit in chairs like Riker does.
Oh, I forgot that we lost only one momentum. I thought we lost all our momentum.
No, I thought you were really Really stressed on that. So yeah, sick bay. We cut to sick bay. Talandra comes in to find Dr. Moretti and a beaten and battered but conscious and rather distraught-looking petty officer. Athena is human, like 40s, that sort of gruff build kind of security lad. And Moretti is trying to appease him of going, look, if you wait, Commander Talandra is going to be along here. Is right here. Commander Talandra is right here. She turns to Talandra and goes, he's going to be fine. He probably shouldn't be running around and waving his arms in the air, and I'd rather he rested. But you can by all means talk to him.
Oh, I haven't got my head on.
Who are you?
Who am
Who
I?
are
I
you?
look like Burov. Who's that? Petty Officer Athena. I'm Lieutenant Commander Talandra, acting captain of the USS Iskandar.
Commander, thank you for your assistance. It's urgent that I speak to Commander Euphrain.
Commander Euphrain,
Commander of the Captain of the
yeah, sorry.
Antares.
I just thought it was captain. I've written captain.
Sorry,
in my notes,
no.
and I read the wrong word and-
I was being pretentious. He's a rank of commander, but he captains the Antares. I knew it would confuse people, and I did it anyway.
And now I am confused. I saw this coming. Why have you done this?
Sometimes O4s command ships. Anyway.
Your captain is currently in control of your ship. It was damaged after some raiders attacked it. You've been brought to the Iskandar for medical treatment.
Good, and I'm grateful, but can I not be patched through to talk to the commander? It's really urgent, Mum.
If it is urgent, it will also involve my teams. What is it regarding?
I was on duty for security for the VIPs the Antares was escorting. They were taken. The raiders took them. They shot me and they beamed out and shot me. It all sort of happened at the same time. All four of them were taken.
Come with me.
What's up?
And ignoring the look from Dr. Moretti,
See, yeah, the flappy doctor look.
Talandra will move Athena into Burov's office.
Yeah.
It's a more private place where she's content to patch someone through to a situation.
Yep.
And we'll close the door and we'll engage with Captain Euphrain.
Yep, you can put through. Euphrain here.
Now you've got to do it.
Yeah. Captain, I'm very sorry to report that Commander Loxley and his team were all abducted by these Norscan raiders. I did what I could. They burst in through the doors, shot me, grabbed them. They were beaming out as I lost consciousness. Friend sort of visibly pales. Petty officer, what about their what about the package? Tina gives a big shrug and then goes, I don't know. I don't know, sir. I'm sorry. Sorry, sir. Your friend does look and go, you're receiving the medical aid that you need. Thank you, petty officer. Please go and get medical assistance. Go. And people are freezing for me. No, Mike's just not moving. Izzy has frozen. Oh no, Izzy's not frozen.
We're good. We're good.
I couldn't tell if it's okay. You just froze, and then Mike wasn't moving, and I thought
got really bumpy for a second, so I just stayed really still.
Okay. You looked pixelated as well, so I couldn't tell. But then Mike was just not moving. Athena could be ushered
Not
to.
moving. Yeah,
Athena
if
could-
Athena leaves, Talandra is
yeah.
going to stay very clearly on the screen.
Yes. No. Euphrain looks like. Commander, I can't. When I say that I can't express how bad this is, I actually mean I've got no idea how bad this is.
Then might I suggest, Commander, you express as much as you can and allow me to infer.
Commander Loxley and his team, 4 Starfleet officers sent to us by Starfleet Command, I had to escort them from Earth to a destination, a location, a secure location within Federation space. That was all. However, I'd feel better talking about the destination if your captain were the one I was talking to for clearance purposes. And they certainly had on board they certainly had on board with them something secure. I don't know its nature. A briefcase, something briefcase, sized, secure, shaped with them, and that was clearly very important. That is as much as I know other than the destination, and what I can tell you is that the levels of secrecy give me great cause for concern in the first instance, and also the fact that something has happened to them. Not to mention the fact that Antares was attacked at all with them on board. It's becoming apparent also, which makes me worried in different ways, and slightly less worried about this, that they are not the only crew members who are unaccounted for. As reports are coming in, Commander Baltros and 18 other members of the crew are unaccounted for, and it's possible that they were taken too. Which I suppose at least makes it seem slightly less likely that Antares was targeted for Commander Loxley and his team.
And yet here we are.
And yet here we are. When I say, that's what I mean when I say I can't tell you how bad it is. I don't know the provenance of Commander Loxley and his team. I don't know the nature of the package. We are a small and quiet ship. We do simple duties, and we do them effectively, which to my mind makes it very likely that of none assuming Miranda class going from A to B is not always going to be doing something unassuming.
Captain Euphrates, I share your deep concern that it is I, and not Captain Athan, who is currently sat here talking to you. But given the incalculable severity of this situation, might I suggest that you begin by sharing with me all the information you have about your destination? As the only active vessel in the system, it may be relevant in the future.
Make me a command and presence roll. Difficulty 2, because you're asking him, as far as it seems to be potentially breaking rules to give you this information.
We got
So
momentum.
that momentum.
Yeah, you got the big mow.
I've got big mow, I should mow it.
You should mow it. You can
If
get
you-
yourself one more D20 to roll. I don't know if you've got anything in your talents that's relevant to it.
I'm just looking at that now.
But you can definitely get one additional D20 out of that momentum.
So my actual talents list is listed somewhere else. But I'm just going to have to go with what I have at the moment, which is...
Or theoretically, I suppose you could increase the threat pool as well if you wanted to.
You can, you can also get additional D20s by adding threat to the pool.
And if you have like the cautious. No, you probably wouldn't have cautious. If you've got cautious command or something talent, that can also affect.
Focuses? What are focuses?
Focuses mean that if you roll below if you've got a relevant focus to what you're rolling for, and you roll below your discipline, then that counts as 2 successes. So it basically increases the crit range from it just being natural ones, the crit success range, to whatever your discipline is. So say you've got a command 5, your crit success range goes up to 5 if you've got a relevant focus.
So,
Is it your face?
so I'm rolling command presence. I can still hear you.
Your audio is fine, just your visual.
Yeah, your audio is
Yes,
fine.
yes.
Yeah.
Command and presence, difficulty 2, and if you have a
How
focus
many
of
dice am I rolling?
well, you've got 2 base, 1 with the momentum, and if you want to increase the threat pool, you can get another. You can buy them separately.
You can buy them separately. You can get up to 3 additional dice total.
Yeah.
So you
my-
could
my-
buy up to another 2 from threat. Or using threat.
Yeah. So if you want to buy max, just
My
increase
command
threat.
presence is pretty darn good. I don't want to raise the threat.
Yeah,
Again-
in that case, I would just roll the 3
Yeah.
and
Cool.
spend and momentum.
I think I have focuses that mean I can. I think I have good focuses.
Which
I don't
focus are you trying
What
to
you got?
use?
Probably diplomacy.
Oh yeah, diplomacy.
Yeah, yeah,
I'd allow that.
yeah.
but I'm not
I'm,
GM.
no, I'm good for diplomacy.
Right.
It's literally persuading someone to do something he doesn't want to do.
For the good of a situation
Yeah.
rather than
Yeah.
because I just want it.
Tap it.
Right. Ooh,
Ooh,
and I'm super glad I did.
well,
Because
check it out.
well, I got 2 successes, and both of them are under my presence. No,
Yeah,
disciplines, isn't it?
Oh, cool.
Yeah, discipline,
so-
so it's under your command.
Both
Yes.
of them are under my command.
Yes.
My command's pretty high.
So does that count as 3 or 4? 4 successes.
Each of those successes that are under the level of the command double.
hmm Okay. Yep. So you got that's 4 successes.
4 successes.
Captain Athan's fucking XO, that's why.
I'm just having a think on if I can reasonably offer you
Zal flexes muscles to solve
any
problems.
any bonus
Lazarus flexes eyebrows to solve the problem.
any bonus things of if you wanted to spare momentum to succeed awesomely. I'm not sure.
One of the rules
Yeah.
on momentum is like if you can think of a way to spend it which isn't written in the rule book, that is also a possibility.
Yeah, if you just want to add frills in some way. I'm not sure I'm going to offer you a kind of a higher rate of success because I know what you're getting with a success and I'm not sure what else you can get out of him.
Yeah.
But so I won't make you waste momentum on that. If you just want him to like you more forever, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, the thing Talandra's trying to do, which is just because Talandra is very neutral and Vulcan,
Yeah.
is she's attempting to get some information out of him. She's obviously not threatening him
Yeah.
because, like, there are certain ways that Vulcans can finesse information out of people, and they're quite limited
Mm-hmm.
because Vulcans can't be super pally. So I'm trying to go for the more positive. I am being reasonable. Be reasonable up here with me, rather than tell me because I am bigger than you.
Yeah. Okay. I will leave. I suggest then we pull the momentum unless you can think of anything because I'm happy with the
I spent
difficulty
it. I should
too.
call it.
Cool. Okay. So yeah, you the good use of the word incalculable in the accurate Vulcan sense, which just upsets emotional people.
You can't calculate it.
You can't calculate it. That's the wrong window with not the right information. The destination is a research facility named Promethean Station. It is still sectors away. Let's say we're still 5 days or so away from the station. Its location is classified, it should also be well defended. If the Nausicans are getting there, then we have a whole lot of... There are considerably more problems afoot than danger there. I would assume that this is either terrible, terrible luck, and this is a simple raid where they happen to abduct. Perhaps they knew where the VIP quarters were on board a ship and decided to steal someone perceived to be of high value. Or if this was really unfortunate, if this is an intentional strike, then, well, we're much more vulnerable. Better to get Loxley and his team en route. So I can... As I said, Promethean Station is a long way away. The coordinates can be given to you, but I'm not convinced at this point that... I actually think it would be a bigger security risk for me to give you those coordinates. Unless there's any particular evidence. Hunting them, frankly, hunting these Nausicans strikes me as a better use of your time, Commander Talandra.
From our scans of the sector, the Nausicans are long gone. Their trail was cold. Unless you have any notion of where they could have gone, it will be very difficult for us to find them now.
Well, with engineering very close to getting the warp core of the Antares back online, I can consult the sensor telemetry from the Antares, from their arrival patterns, anything that we've got on our sensors from their departure. Maybe we can pick up a warp trail together based off that, and if we can track a warp trail, then maybe you can chase them.
I shall return to the bridge and be ready for your transmission.
I will speak with you soon, Commander.
Scander out.
Bloop. Goes blank. You can head on back up to the bridge. Scene. For purposes of some certain amounts of simplicity and time, unless anyone on Antares wants to be particularly picky, I am happy to advance a little bit to Strange gets the warp core up and running, and that puts Renat in a situation where she can start to far better coordinate the situation on board. There is still help, obviously, that all three groups can do, because Antares is clearly going to be in a situation where for the next few days they are going to be licking their wounds, dealing with injured, and physically going about trying to find people, help people, put walls back up and all of that. So whilst you are not urgent anymore as assistants on board Antares, basically you're going to still not be running out of things to help out with. Yeah. Antares can probably within the hour be able to send a sensor telemetry package over to Iskandar, and I am going to check the rules on assistance, because I think that this sounds to me like an opportunity for... why would that be in an index? Why would anyone want that in an index?
I have no idea.
What?
What you're
It's got a rude word in that.
I read it earlier
yes.
as all. It's I just think you
When
should
you
both
say
people roll.
what
Just
do you mean by-
assisting with a task.
For that, assistants roll 1d20 and cannot acquire additional bonus dice. Same rules for successes and complications apply. Assistant successes count if and only if the main character performing the task rolls at least one success.
Okay. I'm going to set this as...
So safe, the crypt sheet.
Thank you. I should find my copy of that. Casey, your science boy. Science boy does the analysis of trying to do things, but Vance can help because he's got to look at stats. Can multiple people assist? They can, can't they?
Yes.
So
Doesn't actually say in the crib sheet here, but I suspect so.
in fact, obviously Kantos can because we're looking at fucking piloting.
Yeah. Navigation.
Yeah. So
Astronavigation.
the bridge team in a cool Star Trek stat thing with the techno. I could have set
around
this
the
up.
monitor and point at things.
Yeah, I was like, I could have set this.
They'd probably go down to astrometrics.
Okay, well,
They probably go down to the actual lab to make it happen, like
Yeah.
okay.
rather than all huddling around one bridge console.
I like that as a visual.
Because that just leads to Casey getting an elbow in the face, and he doesn't want that.
Oh,
It would be
not
Casey.
ideally.
Okay, they can get down to astrometrics, and like you get the cool screen thing coming on with all three of them as you can start to visually recreate with the sensor telemetry from the Antares of the attack. And now that you've actually got that telemetry, it does indeed appear as if Antares was going about its business at warp, was very suddenly attacked from two sides by simultaneously by two Nausicaan raiders, which forced them out of warp with a third ship pretty much on top of them as they came out, and that was the third ship which delivered the particular damage to the engines. And then from there, it looks like it was very precisely orchestrated. On the other hand, it also looks like an ambush. So clearly this wasn't a strike of luck of just wandering of the Nausicans wandering around space and then suddenly deciding to attack a ship. But for divining more, let's just roll. It is going to be a difficulty 2 to get a good trail on Nausicans. And so, can the ship help?
Good question. Where's the ship? Is the ship doing anything? Computers.
Yeah, I'd say computers.
Computers is a relevant system. Yeah. Let's say the ship can help as well. I'll roll for Kantos and the ship.
I'm going to spend a momentum too, just because.
Cool.
I
think
want
this
to
is.
nail this.
I think this is reason and science strikes me as you're analyzing shit that you've got.
Okay, then I'm glad I spent that momentum.
Argue with me if you want to argue with me.
No,
it's
reason
Because
is
it's form a hypothesis from available data or research an unfunfamiliar subject. This feels like a form of
I
hypothesis.
do. I want to argue with you. Let's take this outside.
You're not here.
You're not listening.
And
Yeah, that's what I've got a problem.
so, so we can make Vance and Kantos can make reason security and reason con, respectively. I would say.
Okay. Yep.
Vance is a trash child for trash ships.
That's
But he's such sexy.
that is 2 successes from Kantos because I have astronavigation as a focus, which sounds relevant.
Yes, definitely. Kantos rolls a 16, being fucking useless. And
No, Kantos rolls a 5, being very useful.
sorry, Vance rolled a 16. Sorry. Blah, blah, blah.
Kantos is
And-
the worst.
I mean, Kantos is the worst, but not like that. The ship rolls an 8 and thus succeeds, but nothing special happens from that. So, from Kantos to the ship, there are 3 successes coming in.
And how many from?
2 successes, 1 natural
Okay.
20.
Oh.
Okay, complication. I know what that complication is going to be. I just need to write it down so I remember it.
But yeah, the fact that you've managed to actually get some successes means that all these this giant pile of bonuses
Yeah.
also
hmm
are allowed to be added on.
So it was. We got 6 successes overall.
Yep.
Difficulty
just-
3 task. I'm just.
Okay, let me note down my complication.
Yeah, no, it's all good. It's all good.
Okay.
I was just doing maths.
successes?
3 from Cantos and plus ship, and was it? Oh, was it only 2 from? How many did Strange get?
2 from Cantos, 1 from the ship, however many Casey got, and
2.
Vance got none.
Vance got none. Vance fails. Vance just pointed at things.
Yeah, so that makes 5 successes.
Okay.
Vance is a sock puppet.
So 2 momentum.
So 2 momentum.
No, 3 because it was a difficulty 2.
Yes, it was difficulty 2. You got 5. So yes, 3 momentum.
We gained 3, but you spent 1.
Okay. The result, as you can look at it, is particularly you're interested in finding them from the sensor telemetry from the direction which they appear to have come from, and from the direction of which they left, plus accompanied by the analysis you'd already been doing of the area before any warp signals had particularly degraded. You're pretty damn confident that you've got I can't think of the word, a direction, a trajectory.
Bearing.
Yes, a bearing on where they're headed, which may be trackable. If you wish to spend momentum, then you may do so to get more information from.
So we've got a bearing of where they're going.
Yeah, back towards towards the nearest border is the direction.
Do we have a bearing of where of the direction they came in from?
It's the same. They came in from a direction. They left
came
the
in from a
same way.
direction, they're
That's the
leaving.
main reason. That's the main
I want to
reason
try and speculate based on their current warp trajectory where they might be going to.
They left the same. Sorry. Oh, you want to figure out things which are in that direction. Also, again, you don't have to be asking specific questions for momentum requests for info, but speculation. Boom, boom, boom.
I will devour that momentum.
Now I've got to get my map up, you trash child. Okay. With that, you can take a look. Definitely, they're heading in the direction of the Tellurian Republic. However, along that line, you've also got a bit of a buffer of neutral space, of unclaimed space and unclaimed territory between the Tellurian border and the Federation border. There are some unclaimed outposts in the area. That is the wrong section. Did I not even write that thing down? Starfleet does not necessarily have a full idea of any particular small outposts, if they've got any kind of hideouts, etc. Who friggin' knows in the area? And again, the further away it is, the more difficult it is to be confident. There is the Kefka system, which is an unclaimed region, and the Federation does have a consulate within the Kefka system. That is the main hub of knowledge, information, and civilization within the neutral space. Anything beyond that is into the Tellurian Republic.
Casey will relay that as speculation as to where a possible destination may be.
Mm-hmm.
Bunch of pirates want to do out that way.
Well, if they've got something they want to sell, if they're trying to, part of the question here becomes, they've abducted Starfleet officers, and this includes some who aren't some of these VIPs. So, why? Do they just want to confuse us? Did they
just assume that they were valuable because they happened to be in
the
VIP spot?
How did they know?
Maybe they didn't. I know that's highly unlikely, but
that was a bit of a longer shot.
But the fact that they have taken others still means that maybe they want a slave trade, something like that.
Perhaps.
Maybe they're going to want to try to ransom them back to.
Slave trade?
You've probably got a round syndicate out in those kind of areas.
True. True.
We have a direction, and anything else is just speculation on top of half-formed data. We can return to it once we know a bit more.
So
Fair
you
point.
don't.
Fair
So
point.
you want to spend any more momentum, or are you good?
I think we're good.
I think we're good.
Okay. You have your heading and your guess. If you wish to report.
We can do a ready room debrief.
Yes.
Yes, that's a really good
Ready
way.
room scene!
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's especially great because Athan's got her like the seats where officers sit for like debriefing. So the way it'll be is Talandra, because Talandra's quite tall, is I think she's definitely limmy like a Vulcan.
Vulcan.
So she's doing that kind of desk sit where she's round the other side of the desk and is just kind of leaning against it, talking to the officers, and definitely not sitting at the desk, which she could do because she's the captain, but also it's not her office.
Okay. Everyone gathers, losing momentum. Everyone gathers in the ready room.
So we have an idea of a trajectory. We have an idea of a region by which they might be going.
And where they came from, because they came in on the same bearing.
And a local information hub, which may give us a little bit more information if we cannot find anything more precise. If we lose the trail, Kafka might be a place to go asking some questions.
Yeah, see if they've had any piratical incursions over the last few months or years.
Or pirates might hide out there. It is
Or
independent
pirates might
space.
head out there, but you know.
Forgive me, Lieutenant, do we have any
Sometimes we
better
both-
idea of what the team that were aboard, the abducted team, were specialists of?
Who's that to? Because Vance is looking blank.
That was to Talandra.
You said lieutenant.
Oh, forgive me, Commander. I meant Commander.
I ignored it because I was like, couldn't possibly.
No.
Why?
Oh, Commander, I'm sorry. Please.
Captain Athan was not forthcoming with that information. I believe it is classified.
I see.
It is unfortunately unhelpful for our purposes, but we must work with the information that we have. As it happens, once the Antares has been as restored as we can, I will record the awakening and we'll prepare to track this ship. In the meantime, I require the three of you to prepare for a potential attack. If we are looking for pirates, we may find them.
Yes, Commander.
Yes, Commander.
Yes, Commander.
And Lieutenant Vance, I will need you to prepare a more subtle awaiting should we need to send people to gather information about these pirates.
Yes, Commander.
Very well, dismissed. Ensign,
Yes, Commander.
I'm door-knobbing the ensign, so once the others have
Yeah,
gone.
yeah.
You forgive me, I'm formulating a difficult question.
It's quite all right. Take all the time you need, Commander.
There is a classified location that I do not have the coordinates for. I do not have the clearance to search for. Nor do I have the beginnings of any information about it. However, it is all the information that I have. And although we will be tracking pirates through unknown space, I believe that we are risking failure if we do not pursue every eventuality, every avenue of information.
Yes.
While we are preparing the ship to leave, I will need you to do some research.
Of course, Commander.
It is my belief that if a venue research facility is classified, then it will not appear in any official records. However, there are ways of getting around that. It is in this region of space. It may well be that there will be documents that were performed, that research was performed in this region of space that were later classified. It may well be that there are parts of reports that have been redacted that are in this region of space. It may well be that a name has been featured, but all of the research has been redacted. Do you see where I am going with this answer?
Find the pattern, use reductive reasoning, and speculate with as much evidence as possible on a possible location. I fully understand, Commander.
It will be both a difficult and, I believe, tedious task. However, while we are waiting for the away teams, I believe it is the best use of your time.
I will apply myself immediately, Commander.
And of course, Ensign, what I am asking you to do is not to be shared with anyone else.
No, Commander. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
You may perform this research in my office and use my security clearance.
Thank you.
Dismissed.
He leaves.
And on that note, with missing officers, a mysterious mission, Nausicaan raiders, and poking your noses into delicate classified information, we fade to be continued. Bum, bum, bum.
Dun, dun, dun.
Pow, pow.
That was a really good session, Kath.
Yeah, you actually got to like the exact point I wanted you to get to over the course of planning.
We're
Like,
professionals, that's
I
fine.
know it's fucking nuts. Of you've got the next plot thread. Thank you very much. I hope that was enjoyable.
No, thank you.
No, that was
It was
really good.
good. And yes, so yes, that was the first part of The Cutting Edge. We will reconvene in 2 weeks' time for the continuation of Mysterious Threads. Will we find anything? Will we be professional? The answer to one of those questions is no.
At least one of those questions.
And indeed most.
Thank you very much. So I shall pass back to Izzy for if Izzy has any wrap up.
Shit, you know I do. You know that
Yeah.
that's my life, is wrapping things up. I want to say, though, I was exciting to do a thing that surprised the DM. I don't get to do that very often.
Yes.
I had a smart plan and I wanted to see it through. Anyway, sup, Trash Fam. This has been episode 1 of the Star Trek Iskandar's second adventure. As I said previously, if you're interested in catching up on our first adventure, Stasis, DM'd by our very own Mr. Mike Kilburn, then you can see all of those videos over on the It You Crew YouTube channel. I keep forgetting what that word is. It should be obvious. Next week, of course, will be the next adventure in the It You Crew's Dragon Age stream, Under the Sapphire Sun, where I'm also playing a new character, which is very exciting. So basically, for the next few weeks, you're going to be getting some non-stop trash content direct into your face holes. You are going to be so sick of me. That is a threat and a promise.
Nice.
But if you have enjoyed this stream, or Dragon Age, or in fact any of the streams that we do, I believe at the moment we have a couple of people who are catching up on a little show called Neshikawa High School Mystery Club, which Praxis is writing the movie for. She just needs to find the time, but she's too busy wearing novelty hoodies with her friends and talking about in space. But if you've enjoyed any of that, if you have things you want to share, then you can reach out to us through the It You Crew Twitter account, which is @ItYouCrew. Also, you can find us on patreon.com/@ItYouCrew. And now is the time. I'm going to read you the list of our patrons, and you are going to throw hearts and trash bags into the chat and make a general amount of whooping hullabaloo. So, thanks, praise, and love go to Amy C, Bun Bun of Bun Bun Gaming, Caffeine Kitty, Chris Gallen, Henry Prestige, Hobbs138, James Malloy, Michael Bowman, Mike Fielding, Mike Kilburn.
What a dick!
What a god!
Mean.
Mike, supporting your own game. What an ego maniac. Red Fox, Sucky, and of course, the inimitably named Helena Handbasket. You can join these people and get a whole bunch of content and love and content, love in the time of internet garble yarble. Patreon.com/ItYouCrew. And with that, I'm going to stop talking, let everyone get to bed, and some Star Trek. Thanks for watching, guys.
Bye.